Welcome to This Week in Disc Golf, a weekly look at everything disc golf. This is something I'm going to try on the channel. Kind of a low-rate podcast-style news about disc golf, and I'm going to try to put one of these up weekly. So I'm going to have about 3 stories, as well as some information about new discs and maybe a pro spotlight every week. And I'm going to hopefully upload these every Wednesday, but that may come here and there. But rather than do this as me sitting and talking into the camera, I thought we would kind of do this just audio style with some images up on the screen as I talk through. So we're going to just dive right in with our first story. That's PDGA rule changes for 2021. There was a couple wording changes with hazards and things like that, and some of the Q&A portions of the rulebook. But the only two real substantive changes for 2021 would be no tobacco at any event with only junior categories. And that kind of just makes sense. So something like Junior Worlds or a juniors tournament, no tobacco or any other thing like that. I'm going to have the rule changes up on the board here, or up on the screen here as we go through, so you can kind of pause the video and take a look at those. And another change, and I've not really had an issue with this, but I could see where some people might, but any children under 13 must be supervised by an adult who is not a player or caddy. So basically any child who is walking along, if you have your kids come with you for a tournament or something like that, you would need to have somebody who's not a player or a caddy with your group watching them. And those are really the only big rule changes. The PDGA kind of kept it short and simple this time. So that's our first story for the week. Our second story, the pro and national tour dates have been revealed. I'm going to slap those up on the board here. Again, the screen, I use the word board because I'm a teacher quite frequently, but up on the screen you should see the PDGA national tour as well as majors and the disc golf pro tour events. This is kind of their map format that they use. An interesting one is that they've included the European Open as part of the national tour, so it's kind of cool to see. I'll wait to see some of the big U.S. players playing over in Europe as well. Now, most of the Disc Golf Pro Tour events, I think there's 20 events, including some of the majors, are going to be on Disc Golf Network, which, as kind of a side note, has increased their subscription fees. I think it's going to be $75 for the year or something like that. So no real opinion on whether or not you think that's worth it, but for what it's worth, that's going to be, if you want to see those events live and not just post-edited round footage, you'll have to pick up Disc Golf Network. Our third story is the disc golf contract season. It's kind of silly season, if you were, for disc golfers. So we're seeing a slew of contract extensions. Very, very few sponsored changes, at least nothing, or not much amongst the big names. If you go to Disc Golf Ultra World, they do have a sponsorship tracker, which is where I'm getting this information from. The only big change is Austin Hannum has decided to switch away from Discraft, I believe. He has not made an announcement yet on where he's going, but as it is, Austin Hannum is changing sponsors. Other big names that have extended their contracts: Eagle, McMahon, Brody, Chris Dickerson, Garrett Gerthy, Nate Sexton, Holly Findley, who is going to be our pro spotlight later. They've all extended their contracts for, I think, maybe Brody is a single year, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But the rest of them have multi-year extensions. Greg Barsby does have a single year extension with Innova as well. In the last week of discs that have been approved, we have the Discmania Tilt, which is a 9-speed utility overstable disc. It kind of seems like a really fast Stego or really fast AGL Baobab. Kind of similar numbers, but in a 9-speed. And I believe that Simon Lazat has a video featuring that, if I do remember correctly. Wild Discs has released the Orca and Addicts. They're a driver and a mid-range. I reached out to them for more information, but they didn't have any for me at the time. And then Elevation Discs has released their Interceptor. Also, aside from the note on the PDGA website that it is PDGA approved, I could not find any information. We're going to move on lastly to our pro spotlight. This week I thought I would use kind of a hometown player. I'm from central Wisconsin, so I went with Holly Findley. Holly Finale Findley, to use her nickname as well, from Madison, Wisconsin. She was a model turned pro disc golfer, which I think is an interesting career move. But she came back from a tour in Africa as a model and decided to start playing disc golf. And she placed 4th at AM Worlds in 2012, and then went on to become a professional and and was the PDGA 2013 Rookie of the Year. And to this date, she has 49 pro wins, including the 2020 Music City Open, which is a national tour event. So you'll see some images of Holly Findley as we kind of scroll through. Unfortunately, because it is the off season, there's not really much more going on in disc golf. As we get into the tournament season, I will have tournament coverage and all kinds of other things like that, and um, other disc golf related information. But being that it's December, January right now, it is kind of hard to find disc golf news, so I will leave it there. Thank you for watching This Week in Disc Golf, and stay tuned for more information. If you want to see these videos as they come up, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get notifications. Have a great day, guys.